Hi, my name is Holly Sweat Raper, and although we all have overcome so many difficulties and adversities, Teresa asked us last night if anybody had a compelling story, um, if they'd like to share their story. And so that's what I'd like to do. I'd like to share my WREIN story. Several years ago, my husband and I, Dan, had been married for 25 years, and our boy girl twins were off in college, and we were empty nesting, and we were having the time of our life. Um, Career wise, everything was going well, and we were just falling in love and just riding bikes and camping and just having so much fun together. And then all of a sudden, July 22nd, it was my birthday. Um, my husband had gotten diagnosed with stage 4 kidney cancer. And all of a sudden, our life completely changed. Within 10 days after the diagnosis, he was put into Duke Cancer Center, where they took his kidney and a tumor the size of a football. The tumor was so big that they had to remove part of his rib. We found out that the cancer had metastasized to his lungs, his liver. It was starting to get into his bones, and it was breaking his bones, his ribs. Um, a week after we got home, he saw a bright light and started having difficulty reading. I got him into the emergency room, and we found out he had a brain tumor. It was one thing after the other, and when things like this happen, it's not just one thing. I mean, we had my mother had ended up hitting a coal truck. She's in Pennsylvania. I am the only living relative close by, and she hit a coal truck and was in a coma for 6 months. My husband's battling cancer. They didn't think that he would live beyond 3 months. My daughter put a wedding together in 2 months or 2 weeks because she wanted her dad to be able to walk her down the aisle. Now, I tell you all of this to say that God did miraculous, miraculous things. I mean, I am writing a book right now about all of the miraculous things that we saw. I had the privilege of being able to see my husband live for 2 years. I had a brain or a tumor go down in my hand as we prayed for him. Um, you would not believe the miraculous things that we saw, how God grew us, the strength that He gave us during this difficult time. We kept our eyes so focused on Him instead of our circumstances. Neither one of us were able to work because Dan no longer could walk at times and go anywhere. I'm not a real nurturing person, and yet I was taking a liter of fluid off of his lungs a day for a time there. Um, we were constantly going to the doctor, and I tell you, even in the midst of so much pain, there was so much joy. I remember my husband would be passed out from the pain, and he when he come awake, and people would come and visit, and they'd say, Dan, how are you really doing? He would say, I tell you what, God's not just good, He's extraordinary. I mean, he had such a presence with the Lord, and God was doing such amazing things. And I truly believed my husband would continue to be healed. We saw healing after healing after healing that the doctors could not explain. But I tell you, things didn't turn out the way I had thought. Um, and my husband did pass away. And through that excruciating journey, um, God was so, so faithful. And I remember one night laying in bed, ladies, it was about 3 o'clock in the morning, and Satan started whispering lies. And he started saying, well, what are you going to do now? Your husband is gone. No one's going to ever love you the way Dan did. Your life is over. You're going to lose your house. You're financially ruined. We had tons of bills. We hadn't worked for 2 years. I mean, the list went on and on and on. Everything that could have happened that year, or 2 years. And and I just remember going, Lord, do you hear this? And I heard in my spirit, yes, what did I tell you to do? And this is what I heard. Wait a minute. I have more authority than Satan. So I remember saying, Satan, get behind me. Leave this house. I am the daughter of the king. You have no authority here. And he left. And then I said, but now I had these seeds of doubt. Lord, what am I going to do about my finances? I mean, our finances were absolutely devastated, as you can imagine. I'm 57 years old. My husband was my financial supporter. He's an attorney. And so even though I worked, I didn't make that much money, not to support the house and the cars and all of that stuff. So I thought, okay, I'll sell the house, I'll sell my things, I'll go wherever you want me to go, Lord. But it was scary. And I thought, what am I going to do financially? And I remember hearing the Lord go, what did I say? And I said, you said you would take care of my needs according to your riches and glory, and you have unlimited resources. And I said, but Lord, what am I going to do about my career? And he said, what did I say? And I said, you said, I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord, plans to give you hope in the future. And I said, but I feel so alone. And he said, what did I say? And I remember he's hearing in my spirit saying, I said I would never leave you or forsake you. But ladies, I'll tell you, even with all that information, I said, Lord, I'm scared. I don't know what to do. And I remember hearing and just crying out, say, Lord, speak to me. I don't know what to do. And he said, what did I say? And I said, I don't know this one. And he said, Holly, I turned the water into wine at the end of the wedding. Wait till you see what I'm going to do next. You see, ladies, I remember sitting in my husband's office 2 weeks after he passed away, and I was reading the Bible, and it was the road to Emmaus. This weekend is Easter, so that means so much to me now. But I remember it was right after Christ was crucified, and the disciples dispersed and hid. And two of the disciples were going home, and they were going to the road to Emmaus. And I remember reading that going, Lord, how could they have been walking so closely with you, like Dan and I had this past couple years, and not recognize you? And I heard clearly in my spirit, Holly, the same way you don't. It didn't turn out the way they thought. And this didn't turn out the way you thought. But I'm right here with you. And if you remember the story, ladies, it said that he would have just kept going, but they said, friends, stay. And when he broke the bread, the eyes of their heart was open, and not their physical eyes, but the eyes of their heart. And they said, Rabbi, it's you. And I remember hearing in my spirit, Holly, they still saw it too small. They thought that I was raised from the dead. They didn't realize it's so much bigger. I conquered death. Dan is with me. He is completely in glory. And I am not done with you yet. So go out and tell people what a good, good father I am. And know that I have plans for you. Every gift and skill and ability and everything that you have gone through, I have given you. It's already in you, but just walk in it, not in fear, but in faith. And so here's the thing, folks. We all want that testimony, right? Of Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, but very few of us are willing to go through the test. And then you just have the money. But that if you go through the test and you believe in his promises and you keep your eyes focused on him, no matter what your circumstances are, you truly can live in victory and not defeat. So where does WREIN fall into that? So God just kept opening doors after doors after doors for me. And in fact, I'll tell you real quickly that one of the people I was counseling had gone through a devastation of losing their spouse. And I was sharing with them that God had plans for them and helping them along with their career journey. And the night that I got home, I heard very clearly, not audibly, but very clearly in my spirit, he's the one. And I went, who's the one? And then I heard it again, he's the one. And I went, what? That man I met tonight? Ladies, I couldn't tell you if the man had hair, if he was bald, tall, short, anything. I never thought I would get married again. But I'm here to tell you that I am a newlywed. In fact, several weeks after Bruce and I started dating, he said, Holly, you don't understand. I prayed and prayed for you before I met you. And I said, Bruce, you don't understand. I didn't pray for you. I never thought I'd get married again. And I remember him responding, going, well, it's a good thing God answers my prayers. So I thought truly that is what God meant when he said, I turn the water into wine and things will get better. But here, that's just the beginning of the story. Whatever season you are in your life, God is good and he is going to take you farther than you could ever imagine. So fast forward to WREIN. I'm listening to Teresa Todd, and like many of you, my heart just started beating. I never was interested in real estate investment. I was involved in another organization, 100X. I started my own business, Created For, and I was listening to Teresa, and I felt the Lord saying, you need to do this next. You need to do this next. It was not till last night after Teresa gave the invitation to share our testimony that the revelation of all that WREIN has done really hit me. And this is what I want, what he revealed to me is, although I have been privileged to have 6 deals, and I have a couple on the horizon right now, the Lord's reminded me that through Teresa, through this organization, through this network of absolutely incredible ladies, that devastating fear that was in the very back of my mind of what if something were ever to happen to my husband again? And I find myself in that same place of loss and a financial devastation. And I'll be in my 60s without the ability to take care of myself, to take care of my family. The Lord said, I have given you resources. I have given you the tools that you need, the support, the network, so that you never have to worry about the very things that you feared are going to be taken away. God gives us resources, but we have to take action on those resources. We can't be so fearful or walk around as victims. We have to be able to believe in ourselves, move past the very things that we fear. I feared technology and I walked past it. I conquered it. You know, everything we go through gives us that sense of victory, of authority. The network that is within this organization is absolutely fabulous. And it's because of REIN that I can, one, share my story, two, be inspired by other women who have overcome such devastation and difficulties. I can inspire other people that if things are not good, God is not done because of my own testimony. And we have resources and support with each other. So this is an incredible organization, and I am so incredibly thankful for what it has allowed me to do financially, but even more so the testimony and the amazing women that we get to encounter, and the fact that we get to be able to make impact, solve problems, make a difference in each other's lives and other people's lives. God is so good, and he'll use every situation we go through if we allow him to make incredible impact and glory. So no matter what you're going through, or if you're going through something now, God not only will use it, but he'll make a victory out of it. Romans 8:28 is, in all things, God works to the good. And I love actually Romans 8:18, which says, I consider your current suffering not worth comparing to the glory I will reveal in you. We have such an opportunity to make a difference, ladies, no matter what you're going through.